our offseason was all for the better. And Envy are saying, you know what, Pyrian and Niski, the two guys we picked up for mid lane, running Pyrian right now.
That's true.
They're saying, hey,
No
our new
changes.
coach on top, maybe that's the change that Envy needed to free up the map and help Lyra get some of these wins with the team.
All right, Cyrene, let's see if we get your Thresh here in the ban phase. We do have a Kennen and a Caitlyn to start off.
I don't think you see it banned. I just don't want to see it picked from Dignitas in the situation where Karma's up, Lulu's up, Zyra's up. Because Thresh auto loses those lanes unless you go for like the 20% chance that the guy is going to get hooked and be in a bad position. And I like the Dignitas, you know, if they're going to go for some of those bans like Zyra and Karma, then I'm like, okay, you can maybe go for the Thresh now.
Elise banned out.
You got to ban Zach as Envy if you are on that side. Just a little head tilter that you leave for last, but okay. I'm not worried, Riv. I'm not worried.
It's like a known, right? But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And not knowing what they would go into the first phase with right away. 3 seconds left here. It's going to be the Jace. They still feel like it was pretty big for that top lane. This is the second time they'll ban that for game 2 and 3.
The other thing, too, is like we don't know what happens in scrims. And there's always, you know, people play faster in scrims. They play looser in scrims. You go for all of these all-ins, and you kind of test yourself in the lane. So we definitely see more pressure on like a Jason scrims, etc. And I know a lot of teams bought into that where even like the Kennen doesn't seem a lot of success on stage right now, but in scrims, it's just like this thing is taking over the game.
We saw Immortals using it yesterday. Take down C9 quite handily. So it does continue to find himself on the ban list. And a first pick Karma, we were thinking that would be a change. Feeling pretty good there, Cyrene.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm surprised that Thresh saw play when Karma and Zyra were up.
Okay.
Because of the fact that you just lose the lane, and having no priority bottom lane means you're seeding dragons early. You're probably going to lose your bottom turret at like 10 minutes because of all the auto attack damage it'll take, and you're playing from behind the whole time. So it's just not a good experience. That's why Caitlyn is so highly prioritized and banned out, is that pretty much will win a lot of the lanes by itself too.
Aggression on aggression for the early start of the jungle. I like it. Chaser brings back the Rengar.
Is it another Shen here, or are you picking the 80 carry? Grabbing yourself something early to start fights off. Like that, I think that's a good pick here. Have that range superiority.
So Dignitas is switching everything up. As we said, they did a run back, basically changing only the jungler from game 1 to game 2. Now they're going to switch everything up here. No more Twitch in that 80 carry position. We have initiations for sure now. A lot of the things for Dig were conditional last game, and now they have that for sure fire. Just got to hit it. So I guess there is still a bit of condition.
Ooh, Shen
locked in, yeah.
Taken away and put on Seraph, who's known for split pushing. I wonder what his build path will be here if he goes for something like the Tiamat even first instead of some health items. But I like it. I was about to be like, you can't pick that and not ban Fiora. So the Fiora ban does come through. Kled is another champion that does pretty well into Shen. Does all right. Galio may see a ban on top of it. Now we're seeing those mid lane bans come towards Pyrian. No Talia for him, circumvented a lot of the issues that they had, or Envy had with closing games out.
Pyrian played a lot of Victor. Had that TF towards the top.
Yeah, and he also
that would synergize with this one.
He also was like one of those first people to pick up Kassadin and do really well with it.
Yeah. It's true. I remember then Ryu kind of had some plays on it and a few others after seeing that.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I was like, what? Hey. No, like, gotcha. This may just be a Sona. Or, I'm not in love with it, but the Sona or the Nami, you'd be okay with this. Hakuo gonna go? Wow, okay. All right.
I can do anything you can do better.
I don't know. Okay, we'll see. Hakuo loves Thresh.
Yeah, they both love
A lot of these guys.
They both do.
There's so many supports. I remember there's this era in Challenger where it's like, this guy's a Thresh god. Bunny Fufu's a Thresh god. Sheep's a Thresh god. Hakuo's a Thresh god. Vermilion, it's like, everybody coming up.
Thresh god.
Everybody plays it. Everybody plays it well as well. But we'll see if he's able to actually make some plays bottom, because this is a combo where you can go ahead and get the Thresh engage, and you can get the Varus ulti as well followed up.
That's all these Thresh players, but they do not like to see a Tom Kench on the other side. I can vouch for that. Your hooks completely just gobbled up.
They got jebaited.
Yeah, basically.
The Karma is really a mid Karma for Keen.
Absolutely.
He's going to take Teleport on that as well, and they're going to take the Rumble away and put it up against the Shen and keep Seraph underneath his turret here.
So now the roam possibly here from Someday. We're going to wonder when he goes back and forth between those damage top laners that he can get into now. We'll see a little bit more of that here. And the final pick, what will be that mid lane? What is he going to take? Cassiopeia was towards the top of Pyrian's playlist when he was in the LCS a few splits ago, and it will be Cass again.
Cassiopeia, very strong champion, especially when you can get it in the right situation, not into an Orianna, but into a Karma. So she'll be locked down, she'll be chased down a little bit. It's hard to get continuous Twin Fangs after some poison, mostly because of the fact that she'll just speed away. But Dignitas' composition, looking like a decent amount of protection. They do have some engage and an ability to kind of start a fight from far away. But Envy have some engage, protection, pick. I'm watching Lyra, seeing who he's setting up here.
I like the Cass pick up for that Rengar. He's going to have a little bit harder of a time getting in if you find Pyrian in that group. And we are about to head into Game 3. Quite a lot of Game 3s going here between the first day and second day of the Summer Split 2017 NALCS. Violet and Cop to shake hands and leave their teams now. To the rest of the strategies they have let them know. They have given, basically, just ready to let them play.
Yeah, picks and bans are done. It's all up to the players. All that coaching that they went through ahead of time.
They say there's only 5 or so minutes in between each game, but we've seen that do so much for these teams before. Sometimes you need to just get out. You're going over the same speed bumps, and you have to hear it from a different person. The coach, the rest of the staff backstage has given all of the players what they can use now.
The coaching moment where it's all up to the players now. It's one of those, Jesus, take the wheels. Players, take the rift.
Be good. You see this coach come out from the back of the stage and say, all right, I'm going to play now. Just get up. No more wheel taking. We're on the rift. We're going to see what happens here in Game 3. Dignitas back on blue, Envy on the red side. And we are live.
I like the pick ban and what happened there with Dig pivoting and putting Keen on the Karma in mid and keeping the Tom Kench as a secret, as a counter pick for the Thresh. Told you I didn't want to see it, Riv. I didn't want to see it. But if Hakuo goes off and it's just one of those solo queue games where he's running around picking everybody off, it could work out.
30 seconds until
It's not very good variance on it, though, is all I would say.
Yeah. Keystones, everything looks as it should.
Yeah, just Deathfire touches came out for Karma mid after a while. Kind of ditched the Thunderlords. Went more for, you buy some AP, you go for poke, and there's a better threshold there. Also, as Karma, you're going for like a Q, a one-off, or a mantra Q, and you're not really getting as many autos in as you would like. And the way you would get Thunderlords off is like a W or an auto and 2 parts of Q.
Right.
It's unreliable to get your Thunderlords off every few seconds.
Kind of, yeah, you're forcing yourself into that third hit, making it a little harder to manage minions, manage the auto.
Exactly, and getting an auto off in lane isn't really that great because you draw minion aggro. So they made the swap over to that after all things were considered. Leash over to Chaser on the Raptors, so he'll be a little bit faster in terms of his jungle respawn. He'll come back at 4 minutes and about 20 seconds. And that's why a lot of people start it too. It's just a great camp to start on. And if it respawns earlier, it's so much experience.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get ahead off of that. I talked to a lot of pro junglers, and they're like, if I don't start on Raptors, I'm already behind. Because then the second Raptor spawn is later.
Yep. It's so easy to take after the first one, too.
Yeah, the first one's kind of the
like,
hassle.
it hurts a little bit. The second one, you're like, and I'm done.
There's a lot of junglers, like Sejuani, Gragas, like a lot of the tankier junglers that start Medallion, or Hunter's Talisman, sorry, that you just have to hit the camp and kite it around, and you're getting like 30 HP every second, and it's literally better than a health potion. You can use the Raptors as like a really fast way to get back to full HP, especially your first Raptors.
Ooh, Hakuo with the hitbox on the scuttle. I thought it was going wide right.
I mean, we talked about Hakuo roaming level 2 every game. He's walked into the river.
Yep.
And this time he's helping Lyra pick up that Scuttle Crab a little faster, provide CC for it. Lee Sin doesn't have CC, which will remove the resistances.
Ooh.
Look at this, though, Seraph. Ooh.
Seraph playing that Spirit's Refuge with a little too much distance. He had to take too many steps to get out of that situation. Lyra now around to the red buff for himself.
Yep. Oh, look at this. Maybe looking for a play on top. This is, once again, you're diving a Shen. Gets a little bit risky here.
So Lyra starts off on the 3, Chaser going for a little bit of the Krugs, but they know he's low. The amount that he is low would be real bad if Lyra would have even been towards the top side of this map, so Seraph probably not too worried about anything at this point.
Yeah, I was actually watching Seraph. He didn't put a point into any ability until like just a second ago, and he had been 3, and he hits 4 right there. He was holding out on putting a point into his W that entire time. Just thinking maybe if Jungler's on this side of the map where I'll get dove, another point in Q is better.
No wonder he took so much damage going to that hit.
Yeah, just went right in. And it's interesting as well, because like this is not how the matchup played last time. You look at the Doran shields, both potions of both players have already been used because they tried to all in each other and smack around, but I really think that this is something that's just kind of showcasing that Someday knows how to pressure this matchup a little bit better than how Seraph did. Or Seraph likes to actually return damage more, which I think is a little bit questionable. But I like that he went in when he had minion push advantage. When you have more minions, that's when you want to go in, especially with Taunt, because then they draw all the minion aggro.
Yep. As well, he forced Someday to turn away just about 0 Flame Spitter damage in that trade, forcing the back, forcing the TP. But he actually should have it at a pretty nice, that would have call 75% mark for the top lane, and not even under the turret yet.
Yep, doesn't have enough gold to actually get himself the full haunting
hurts.
guys, but has the components. He's fine enough with that, but look at this.
Yeah.
Ah, Chaser. In the jungle.
Oh my god.
See Lyra take him away.
Lyra's got his buffs, gonna take his Raptors now. It's not Chaser's jungle at this point.
I said, for Lyra, you're behind if you aren't starting on your Raptors. You're taking the other guy's Raptors. There you go.
So you're ahead?
Now you yes, he is ahead. I would say he is ahead.
You can mark that one in the books. 5:26. Lyra is ahead.
But the funniest part of this is the response when your Raptors get stolen is to check their Raptors and be like, haha.
Please, I hope your Raptors are up.
But he didn't do them in the right order. Lyra went from his red to his blue side jungle, cleared that, then he went back and cleared his Raptors. So those Raptors aren't going to be up for a little while longer. So Chaser gets nothing out of that, and that's why we see Lyra actually up a level, go looking for a gank down bottom.
Chaser has been hitting Krugs left and right. Lyra hitting camps, and now the lanes onto Big. The thick skin comes through the last few hits. Gonna be close enough. Ranger's focus, not firing out enough. And Lod takes the forefront, being the meat wall for Big in that one.
That is 3 summoner spells for just the exhaust there. That is a great play from Envy.
Yeah.
And that hook, that thresh hook, coming up big. And then when they hit big with it and not Lod, doesn't matter. You can't get that, yeah, no. You can't end up eating the person who got hooked because it's you. So it's good to go after the Tahm Kench in this matchup.
I like that, by the way.
The
hook comes up big.
Yep.
Now it comes up Lod.
Oh, Lod. Oh, you can see mid lane fighting over priority there. Pyrian playing off to the side here in the control ward.
They have to be careful. Some always say it takes longer than 10-15 seconds. You got to be wary of what the other team's going to do with it, and they back off at the perfect time, basically wasting Chasers.
Yeah, this time is pretty valuable as well.
Right now,
also, Chaser could totally be topside jungle right now, taking Raptors, taking the red buff away, but he's actually not counter jungling because he felt like that bottom turret was going to go down from the pressure Lyra was providing. And the fact that Seraph had hit 6 means that he could have actually ultied in there as well and provided more pressure. So Chaser actually doesn't get an optimal punish on Lyra in the slightest bit unless he rushes there right now.
He's going as fast as he can. You see the Qs coming out on spam, but this means Lyra can go bot side now. And some days in the jungle, this probably alerts them that they are going to get countered top. They have a free bot to hit.
Yeah, unless Hakuo goes for like a flash hook and hits big, there's really no excuse for this bottom lane dying because like Lyra actually shows up there. I mean, sorry, if you're taking the top side of Lyra's jungle, you have to tell your team, he's not here, he's bottom side or ganking bot, right? And they definitely infer that.
Yeah, here Big would be kind of getting up, trying to get those licks in. You can see how safe they are actually playing. Level 6 just on the edge for these laners. You can see about 90% on the bottom left there for Lod. Mid's already 7. We haven't seen too much action here just yet either. Seems like both teams are kind of happy here in Game 3, getting to a certain point before getting each other's faces. It's just been about Lyra in the jungle.
Yeah, they know Chaser's there. Ash Arrow is up. Apollo is not level 6 yet. Cool. Interesting from Hakuo. Almost landed. Good from Kyrian to half shove the wave and then come off to this side here.
Nice little teamwork.
Ah, Moby boots from Lyra, trying to get around the map a little faster. Ouch.
Thought was there. But yeah, Soul Flare, the mantra up Q, doing about 20% to Lyra's HP bar. He heads back towards his top side. Didn't actually lose too much in the entire situation. His red was gone, but he's got the Raptors.
Yep.
He's got those Krugs, so he doesn't fall too far behind.
Yeah, he's still ahead in terms of experience and in terms of jungle to clear as well. Only thing that's an issue is his Raptors are now down, and the Raptors from Dignitas are close to respawning, I believe. So if he's in a position to actually pick those up soon, could be good. This is a game of checking the jungle pathing over and over again. Oh, yes. So yeah, the Raptors will be up in a few seconds on the bottom side of the map.
No dragon control just yet. The Scryers bloom over it as Hakuo goes for a bit of the roam. He sees that he's got an opening here with that Vision Ward. As this wave clears, it might be that hook that initiates it, but it seems like it's just going to be for that jungle pressure. See if they can possibly find Chaser here. They know that Hakuo is there. The pings are actually coming in right now.
Have an idea that he's definitely not bottom.
What makes you say that?
He's definitely not bottom. He can't get a gank top. He must be in the river.
And again, we mentioned it before, but it has been such a different lane between Seraph and Someday. Seeing this back and forth with Seraph on Rumble and Someday on Shen was so different.
Yeah, the CS advantage, and you can see Seraph went for, instead of Adaptive Helm right off the bat, TMS, so you can shove out. And that's just Seraph's style. I love when you see players and you're like, that's different than what's normal, and he just wants to be able to fight, and you can just clearly say, Lyra, sorry, not Lyra, Seraph just wants to be able to push. He doesn't like being under his turret. He likes applying pressure himself. He likes winning that lane back, and look at this.
Chain of Corruption, Pyrian focus of Lod. Lopped up there, and it looks like they're going to be able to get this fight, and Big's forced to flash out, but he takes the exhaust. What an equalizer from the teleporting Someday, and he's going to start cleaning up the fight. Hakuo going down to the Flame Splitter now, but he may live a double kill for Keen, and there should be the focus resolve and the Soul Flare to pick up another one, but Seraph does get out. They pick up that extra kill, though. 4 down on the side of Envy.
I mean, that's first blood in a fight that ends 4-0 in favor of Dignitas. That teleport was great. The fight setup was something that you were like, okay, maybe they should have capitalized on Big's flash being down earlier, but they get the flash. It's a full-on brawl, a great team fight that you think might go the way of Envy with the team fighters that they have, but really that turnaround there when the TP came through. Nothing had happened before that. A lot of these guys have 100% KP.
And look at, that's what we're looking for. The Rumble, push the wave, teleport first.
Yep, Pyrian gets the ultimate there from Shen, but then comes in, throws down the equalizer. Pyrian's on top of it, Lyra's on top of it, and they are just wrecking and cleaning up. That is a disgusting teleport location for Someday to come from. Back when Someday was on KT, he had some of the best teleport flanks in the LCK, And it was a question of, okay, you look at the stats, KT actually placed most wards out of any team in the world at that point, back when they were in Worlds in 2015. Someday came over here. TP flanks were a little off. Was it the communication? Was it the fact they weren't placing as many wards? Seems like whatever the issue was, it's been remedied slightly, especially that play right there, where he just came in after pushing that top wave. And you, like we said, they get that bottom turret. You talked about it. You shove Rumble top, push him under the turret. That turret took a lot of damage just from the minions.
Now they can swap it. We have Lot up there to push the wave in. He will get the assistance of Big in just a bit, and this should be taken out. Haku will shield himself up without the minions, though.
Yep.
Take a while, and they're going to be very, very scared to try and do that. So top will go down 2 turrets for Dig.
Yep, and that's called a tempo advantage. They just make sure that, hey, you're going to take that bottom turret much slower than we're going to take this top one. Otherwise, it would have been Envy with a better push on the bottom side of the map. They'll get this Drake, but the top side now is a little bit in flux. They lose the top side jungle, the Rift Herald is still on the board, and there's a possibility they go for 2 turrets here, depending on what Dig really want.
Well, Apollo's going to stay bot. As soon as they say see him, words, that might trigger them to go towards this top side. Someday should be able to somewhat 2v1 a situation in front of that turret with Flame Spitter.
Rift Herald.
But yeah, they back off before the objective to come through.
With the Abyssal Voyage into the Rift Herald pit. They can start it up without losing any time. It's nice. Good rotation.
Going to be Hakuo just on the edge. He only is going to grab vision from this. Ooh, he gets pinged out, actually. Keen started to move up very fast. Hakuo stopped in his tracks. And Rift Herald will be picked up. He knows he has a second now, possibly on the escape. He's just trying to see what kind of angle he can grab for vision. Like his tenacity and trying to get in there and continuously see what he can do. Even though that's something in the game. Jeez, a different word.
Yeah.
2K gold lead, 2.7-ish, 8-ish here for Dignitas. They start to make sure their jungle is safe. Not safe for now. They lose his blue buff. Hopefully placing some wards in. Really far walkout here by Lot and Big for having Lyra in the jungle. But they do have Chaser behind them, so a little bit of safety there.
Envy are going to have to look for, honestly, something in this mid part of the game, whether it's just knocking down turrets and rotating, but it's going to be dangerous. Dig are ahead, and they have pushing lanes. They also have the rotation power of the Abyssal Voyage that it's on Big to use it correctly. Arrow. Nice flash. Doesn't flash in a line. Give him points for that one, for sure. Happens too often. Up there's the Rift Herald being used. Where's it going to go? It goes to the closest lane. It's top lane. It doesn't even go through the tri-brush. It just... Is it going to actually just like... Okay. Wow. It's like on a track.
I like that. I never realized Rift Herald has squishy foot sound in the river. Great coding team.
Wait, Apollo's backing off of it because he has no vision on the top side. He's like, wait a second. Look at him just hiding in the bush up there. Like, he has no safety.
So it looks like they are playing this one off the ball. They're going to try to do a 3-man Rift Herald mid with Rift Herald top.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is pull somebody top so Apollo shows himself, and now they get to siege mid because they know they have a numbers advantage and the Varus couldn't be there in time.
Ugh, the miasma keeping them just outside of turret range, so really this falls flat in the play of going for Rift Herald at 15 minutes.
Yeah. Not a good Rift Herald at all. Disapprove.
Mark it again, 1640. Disapprove Rift Herald. The team, however, that first fight gives them the advantage to make these little things happen. Hopefully for Dignitas, they don't continue to fall flat because Envy will scale up. They have this team. Cassiopeia is going to get quite big, and they'll be able to lock down these fights if they want.
Yeah, Pyrian, man in the mid lane who you're looking for here, has a CS advantage, but he does have to scale. Needs time for his tier to come online and also that Rod of Ages.
Seems to be the name of the game between these two teams. There's Dignitas trying to scale, then Envy takes their own situation to scale here in game 3.
It's been swapping back and forth, like you said. Dignitas trying to scale a little bit game 2, game 1. This time, EnVy game 3.
And they put it on Pyrion as well. He did have actually a second pretty good game. First game, red side blind pick Syndra in that first phase. It was taken by Keen's Orianna, so that matchup, Pyrion has definitely been able to kind of right the ship and really get a lead here on Keen. It's been helping out because that was one of the big losing lanes for EnVy.
Yeah, it was a problem at first, but you know, sacrificed some CS early on to go roam in game 2. Game 3 so far up, like you said, but still the kills are going to be big for Keen. And Keen can't really get pushed out of lane. You kind of have to kill him in a fell swoop because of the fact that he has the teleport. But Pyrion just gets time to scale, time to just pick up the CS, and actually doing quite well in that department too. More than 10 per minute. Actually at 11 right now.
See if you can keep blue buffs on him as well. Will be imperative for Pyrion to be another one in this team fight that can basically fire out what would be 80 carry DPS with those fangs. Because it is Pyrion and Apollo to basically do the damage.
Yeah, down bottom, this wave from Lod got pushed in, and they'll actually deal some damage to this turret here.
A few Rangers focus shots.
Yep. Doesn't stay around too long because the wave clear comes in. You don't want to put yourself in risk of getting hooked by the Thresh. And Infernal Drake in 30 seconds, so check in the coffers. Nobody really needs to back for anything.
No hot pockets just yet. Maybe after this fight, though, it would be a big one. It's about positioning here for EnVy. Get it to Pyrion, get it to Apollo. Have the members of Dignitas be in front of those two. Otherwise, EnVy's members are a front line in front of those two.
Yeah. Apollo also doesn't have flash, so he's a prime arrow target because you last used the arrow onto him and you saw him flash. So this could be a pick that happens. And he's grouped up with his team, and they're ready to try and look for that Infernal Drake. The area's been claimed by Dignitas, who just want to shove out this bottom side and go back there.
Early scuttle control gives Dignitas the return. Ooh, Lyra takes it in, not seeing the team below on that scuttle shrine. And the fight goes on. Hakuo throws down the box for the disengage, and that will be Seraph going all the way through. And Stand United.
And Someday was just walking down. Didn't have to use his teleport. Had priority in the lane by shoving it up his rumble and then making sure he's in a position to possibly throw down an equalizer.
Good defensive wards here from EnVy. Looks like there's some they can protect as well, so they don't get routed around here. Someday coming out on that early teleport was gigantic for the first 4 kills of this game. We haven't seen that yet, or again, I should say.
And I don't think EnVy shouldn't be picking those fights.
Yeah.
They're behind. They want to scale. They're waiting for Cassiopeia's items to really ramp up. And I mean, like, kind of rule number 1 of facing a Rumble is you either gank him because he's pushing all the time. Rule number 2, if that doesn't happen, just avoid the mid game. Don't fight him mid game. No team fights mid game.
Fight.
Exactly. Don't give him a dragon fight. Don't give him a mid game fight.
Seems like they're trying to avoid it now. Seraph has stayed top. He's been actually back and forth with Lod and Someday, as the turret has yet to go down again. Seraph will back. Still teleports for both sides are up. That was only Stand United used, as there's a sale on Ruby Crystals for EnVy and Pink Quartz for Dig.
Yep. Oh, man. Some people rocking 3 in the inventory as well.
Oh, see, sir. All right, that's the arrow we're talking about. Anything that happens here is kind of Dig gaining map position. Not a kill to come from this here. It might be the pressure mid, but just Hakuo low doesn't do much. Yeah,
Someday grouped with the team as well, so possibility of an equalizer coming out, but you really want the follow-up equalizer or the one where people are routed already and the equalizer comes down. But it's allowing Seraph to push out that bottom wave as Shen.
Ooh. Some good damage. Hakuo will have to think twice about facing Keen if he gets hit with some Qs. They are calling for just an assist over by Hakuo's position. I feel like he wants to go clear, but does not want to do it alone at this point. 226 to 214. Pyrion still needing to stay on top of Keen at 2-0 and 2 now. He cannot fall behind anymore. Feels good on CS. Stave off the kills, and it should be good to go once these fights start to happen. If they can get the counter engaged, it's going to be a big thing for EnVy.
Yeah, if you can get some big shields in there from Dignitas, though, Keen, who's got a decent amount of AP now, it could be pretty bad for EnVy, who, no, they aren't really multi-target focused or anything like that, or AoE,
right.
But it's really just, if they can't kill these squishy targets on Dignitas, then that shield is going to mean so much.
Really, really will. You have to also think about the denial of Devour.
Oh, looking for Apollo.
Here's the Abyssal Voyage. You're gonna also get devoured on that one, but it is a friendly Devour. 3v1 as the Stand United comes in here. 4 members locking it down for EnVy as Dignitas thinks they have the upper hand. Big's gonna get dropped now in the Abyssal Voyage to the top lane. There's a Dark One.
And that was great. It looked like it would be one of those Abyssal Voyages that you're like, oh man, they caught him out of position. The Shen ulti comes through. Hakuo is in the vicinity, and then Seraph held his taunt until he had been actually regurgitated, so that Laud could get in that taunt as well.
And that is the Shen takeaway this game. That has been for Laud's Twitch these past two. Seraph gets the Shen this time. They're able to use it to save their AD carry and work around the map globally. Remember that teleport still up. Yep, for Seraph.
And you could tell the Dignitas were getting a little bit frustrated by not being able to make a play with the arrow or the Abyssal Voyage for a while. But But you can't disrespect the Shen and go for something like that.
See again here.
I don't know if he was expecting Chaser to jump in, but Apollo goes in, or sorry, Laud goes in, and he's just ready to jump on Apollo, but he gets rooted up. Chaser comes up too to try and help, but then he spits him out, and boom, double taunt as Lyra jumps in as well onto Laud. And they pick up Big to boot. And that's that bottom lane who tried to make a play. And we've talked about, you know, Dignitas, a lot of it is the top 3 members of the squad, the top 3 members of the map. Bottom lane, they have a lot of the engage in this match. It's up to them to really make the good one.
Yeah, it was really clean engage too from EnVy there. You have the one guy running out, but staying in, knowing the Shen ultimate's going to be good enough, and everybody just comes together.
Yeah, a lot of purple in the inventory for EnVy.
Oh wow, two helms.
Yeah, the adaptive helm for Lyra as well. Just realizing how much value that has against Somedays Rumble, who he's doing pretty much the best on the team. But also, it'll reduce the mantra Q if you get hit by the second part by a decent amount as well.
Titanic Hydra on the horizon for Seraph. Be a little more formidable in those side lanes. Be a pest to someday. Big in the team clearing up around Baron. We've seen a lot of these attempts be much more concise from both of these teams. The vision has been cleared. They take it either during a sneak, which we've seen twice already somehow during this. They've been able to rout each other, or it's just a well thought out fight and they're keeping the jungler away. See if we can keep it here in this game, because historically, sometimes things get troublesome around the pit for both of these teams.
Yeah, arrow landing on the Lyra. He'll get Lantern out, but Someday has been roaming up the whole time. Looking for the rumble play after shoving out bottom. This may just be some damage on the mid turret. And think back, they've chipped this down many times before.
Is it a final?
I don't think so. That grounded effect is going to keep Laud from wanting to walk up. And the Mountain Drake in 18 seconds would be the prize for the chunk on the Lyra.
A little respect towards what Seraph's doing in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, also top side, Apollo's on top. Now you just kind of get control of the Scuttle Crab bottom side. And now Apollo has to shove top side, come down here. Be safe while he does it as well, unless they're going for a flank engage.
It doesn't reach that turret either. That wave's going to be nice and big if Dignitas can hold these fights, get that to push back out. Make something happen when that wave gets to that second tier top turret for EnVy.
Yeah, it's
now it's going to be Dragon.
Really good point that it'll slow push back towards them. Just one of those things that's minutes in the making.
Yep. It's that, what is that, the 6th player on the map? He'll be there soon. It's the lifeline starting to build up right now. Those big waves. And here's another one, right?
Yep.
It's just like, oh yeah, we're fighting around here, but no, we're going to sneak it.
Where's the hawk shot?
There's a assist ping.
There was a blue trinket.
There's the teleport, 4,500 HP. The arrow goes right through, and EnVy is forced off of that Baron at this point in time. 27 minutes into the game. Didn't call too much on from Seraph. He still had the split push in the bottom lane along with Someday. Someday's teleport is down though.
Exactly. Now there's potential for double globals from Seraph. Unanswerable push. or unanswerable globals there, Someday will take the blue buff, but his push isn't really that strong because he's a rumble. So getting to the turret, you don't have to worry too much about it. So I think Envy, you go right back to the scene of the crime. Oh, yeah, okay. You can kill it too. You can kill the blue ward, blue trinket if you want. They really didn't want to do it, I guess. They'll give up the Mountain Drake, and that'll give a faster Baron take to Dignitas. You really want that Mountain Drake if you're Envy, though, because you have the Cassiopeia, and it just is begging for you to get that, to take down that Baron faster. Also, important to note, Someday taking away the blue buff means the Cassiopeia doesn't get the blue buff for the Baron, and it helps so much in that take.
A 1-2 punch in Dragon and mid turret. Going over to Dignitas, and you said as well that blue buff being stolen away, Someday making good use of his time, not being able to teleport anywhere. Make sure he still can stay on the bottom of the map and be a menace. Apollo, about 40 CS up now as he crests 300, first one in the game. As everybody is doing a great job at, I'm not saying not sharing, but staying spread out and getting their carries the items they need to, as we're going to get to a pretty pivotal point in the game here.
Yeah,
next Baron fight is going to be scary.
Yeah. It's going to come down a lot to these team fight abilities. What's Pyrion's ultimate look like? What's Apollo's ultimate look like? And once again, Apollo actually has been split pushing so much, and he kind of gets away with this because he has a Shen. He puts himself in really exploitable positions normally where Big could like Abyssal Voyage in, and we saw that, but it's actually put him about a level and a half up over Laud. He was 2 levels up over Laud until Laud caught that wave there, so Apollo still in a really good position. And you think about it from this perspective as well, they're supposed to be down in this game. Envy are down 2,000 gold. Apollo's just been picking up that side farm, up 40 over his lane opponent.
Almost kind of nice. You have that turret up there to feed you. Minions keep coming back even quicker. It's like, no, don't take this top turret, guys. It continues to give me minions. If they're not pushing, don't do it. But that is mid and top. Gold that Envy can quickly pick up if something happens in their favor. We just saw Dignitas kind of snap a strategy real quick. And here, the Baron once again on the plate. But it seems to be the last thing on their mind.
Dignitas had sneaky Barons in game 1.
Yep.
The ones who got away with it twice. And it was actually quite good. When they did the Baron, it was the right startup, and I really think that Dignitas's lack of hesitance to take the Baron when the opportunity presents itself was quite good.
And see how hesitant they are to do it now with the lack of vision on the backside. This is what I was talking about before, is Dig moving much more as a team to make these situations happen.
They killed the Blast Cone too.
Quick chaser hop bounce on the Blast Cone to make sure that is not as of use for Lyra or anybody to make it in.
And these teams are just kind of looking for opportunities constantly, not trying to force anything, just looking. You see one, you go, oh, no, it's passed.
Yep.
No, it's passed.
You just got to stay away from the, oh, down with that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, oh, wait, was it?
It's passed.
It wasn't that one either.
Yep.
Hopefully everybody stays on the same page. That can be a very strenuous thing to go back and forth on, especially when Seraph starts to create side pressure on that wave. Ping's going towards the top side that Apollo needs to re-clear. And we're going to get a bit of a spread thin here for Dignitas. This is when the right choice is imperative. Ooh, it looks like Lyra is able to draw out arrow as well.
Yeah, that was the arrow from Laud, and that's the pick tool that you're looking out for is Envy. It's a good dodge there from Lyra. Good Lancer from Aqua and the setup to try and get that control ward, but it just regens right up. There's that control ward though from Envy in the back of the pit. That'll actually give them vision because control wards don't disable control wards.
Yep. That's nice of them.
We both have control of this area.
But how much do they want to share Zyrene? Because I feel like it's very little. I feel like that is a small amount.
No sharing here.
Whoop.
Yeah, protecting that control ward. Hakuo. Oh.
Just missed Baron.
Yeah, he wanted to start it up.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah, he like gave it a back scratch there.
Get 2 loogies.
Can't unsee.
Toxic. Get it out of there. Bio warfare. All right. Pyrian still cleaning up in the mid lane. Actually evened out in CS from Keen now as he has found some solo lanes and farmed to himself here. Somehow 30 minutes into the game. And item spikes are about 3 for each now. So we're getting to that point where it's going to be up to the summoner spells and who can use them best. The regular abilities aren't hitting. Just on the tail end. Looks like we're going to be getting another Baron.
Yep. Hakuo was out of wards, placed his last control ward, and it got cleared. He had to restock all 4, and he had to buy 2 control wards. Hakuo now back in the area because of the Moby boots.
Scrying Orb, full vision of the team. Hakuo knows they can use that. Just a quick second to get another ward in. Doing a great job at support.
Yep,
the support's down. That's all you need to do, right?
Yup. Someday hit the point where he now has his Void Staff. Sitting at 25 flat magic penetration and 40% overall magic penetration. So he's not really caring as much about the adaptive helm. He does deal a lot of damage to Seraph now. This takes you to that 3-item point to actually be able to kill the Shen. Look at that, just Envy chilling.
The moment they could get on this side of the map, they create the bushwhack strategy.
Yeah, look at that, just that vision denial here. There's no vision at all for Dignitas in the Baron pit. Someday he'll be able to solo this. Has that Mountain Drake, helps him out a bit. Just takes it right quick.
So now they have basically the entry for Dignitas. If Dignitas is in the pit, they don't see too much, but that entry of Vlad on the back line, what the AD carry is doing and where Keen may be positioned is now knowledge for Envy. Things become a little bit easier at the Baron pit, but Dignitas have put down their own security.
I was like, you know what's going to happen? They're going to start a fight right now. They're trying to outnumber Apollo. He can't reach the Lantern.
Oh, can he get it to walk off the Lantern? Can he flash back onto it? It's going to be the Stand United from Seraph, but they already take down Apollo and Hakuo. Seraph now in a 5v1 situation. It's going to be Lyra and Pyrian over at the red buff, but they're just trying to grab the resources before Dig does, and Baron is going to go down.
Dignitas finally found their opening. It was through Apollo constantly shoving the top wave. Sure, he's 2 levels up over Laud, but it's exploitable. I talked about it earlier, and Big eats someday, brings him up to the top of the Abyssal Voyage. Now they're trying to keep Lyra out of the pit.
It was basically a rinse and repeat. That's the second time Dignitas has activated that strategy. This time they had a little bit more vision when they did it. They come out on top. Lyra rather can't even get himself into a good spot to try and smite. Locked into the fight, flashes down, and so is he for 45 seconds.
And Big has been coming up big.
See it again right here.
This is exactly what you should do when that AD carry split pushing. But watch this, the arrow hits. Now Hakuo is also dead to rights. You can't take that Lantern or else you're just taking it into the enemy team with Chaser there as well. Definitely caught out of position there, and a great punish. Sure, the Shen is on the other side of the map, but you just got your Rumble, a great way to enter the fight with the use of the Abyssal Voyage.
All of these wards being placed but unprotected.
Splitting 80 carries, but Laud saw that one coming with all of the wards that they had. And now, Dignitas get to go for a little bit more of that grouping and fighting and looking for the equalizers here. I expect them to group as 5 and try to make plays with this Baron buff.
Someday, looking for a fight with the rest of the team with teleport down. They start to head down mid lane, pushing that wave in to focus bot.
And Seraph has no global for 10 more seconds here. Don't think that it will start right
Chaser getting just that. He's going to turn back on the fight. Sunday's next to him, gets that empowered Bola down, and they get Lyra down. He just came back up from the 45 seconds. Now it's another 50.
And you're sitting there like, can he get to the Lantern? Can he touch the Lantern? No bueno, can't do it. And now they just push down the bottom side.
They're going to be going for this next inhibitor turret. Second tier in mid, second tier in top. Still up. You can see how fast they are accelerating this game right now after that 30-minute Baron mark. And they are just crushing down the inhibitor. Other lanes to work after this now, and Dignitas backs up to come back for mid.
Yep. They still have a decent amount of time on this Baron buff, minute and 30 seconds. Killed Lyra, forced out the rest of the team to give up that bottom inhibitor. Blastcone's still trolly, but now they'll pick up this mid wave. Push it to the tier 2. They don't really have to back. Nobody's in bad shape at all.
It's so scary, too, because you're 4v5. You lose one, then you're 4v5 again. Lyra just can't back up. You can't get yourself into that cycle. And great shots from Lot on the left side with the team help. Envy knows they can't really engage. Not just engage, but engage.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, the hard engage?
There you go. 405 CS now for Apollo as he's breaking another mark.
Yeah, someday Lod chilling off on the side, maybe looking for an arrow, but Chaser's on the top. Seraph has ulti as well. Don't feel like you make a play here if you're Dignitas. Feel like you back, you reset, wait for that equalizer to come back, wait for bottom wave to shove out, and you go for top mid.
You go for the Elder.
Yeah, you go for top mid for the next minute, and then you can go for Elder.
Walk all over his lawn, he hates that.
I just imagine a dragon with a cane. Come down. Out of my river! Oh, the Elder. I never actually thought of it that way.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Only comes out after 36 minutes. You really just got to make it mad.
He's got a lot of tolerance until that point. And he's just through with all of you guys.
Oh, another voyage here. We'll see how far they go on this one.
Arrow?
The seas are rough. They can't seem to get the initiation that they want. Lantern out. The dark passage to the light for Lyra. And that would have, he has gone down so consecutively recently that that would have really been bad.
Oh yeah, they were just constantly beating him into the ground. But you're really just waiting on that damage, waiting on Pyrian to do a lot of damage. Where's the Void Staff? It's coming in later.
He's got good survivability in the Rod of Ages. There's some brace.
Banshee's Veil.
Banshee's Veil. This turret's about to go down now. And they do finally get it. The last caster Winion with a shot. So Dignitas living on this blue side now. Interesting with that inhibitor being down towards that side. Letting Someday push top. They're really just kind of splitting their pressure more and more. So that's what the result they get out of Envy is split as well.
Yep.
What do we got here? 0 deaths defied so far by Lot. Hasn't had a chance to use that Phantom Dancer too much. We'll see if it keeps him alive and keep track of that. A little fun thing to do throughout the game. And Dignitas owning basically everything their side to the base of Envy. Going to make it difficult for any blues or reds. Blues mostly for Pyrian as well to keep these sieges stopped and the fights won.
Yeah. You're waiting for Pyrian to deal a lot of damage. Level 18 for both him and Apollo. Lot just hitting 17 himself, so was 2 levels down, but now you have Hakuo sitting level 12. Those 2 levels that Lod was down funneled into big. So support actually a bit ahead now. Doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but look at the way the map is being played. This Elder Dragon.
So angry.
Yeah.
Looks like they are going to back off. Just taunting.
He hasn't had his nap.
Here we go, back down to the Dragon. They're going to have a little vision control here. And gigantic wave heading to the base.
Yeah, gigantic wave. The bottom side that was going into the turrets. They see Apollo trying to clear it out. How are they going to start this?
All right, Lyra gets
Lyra's got to get
over.
in if he wants to steal.
Lyra does
2K.
not have, or he does.
Now they fight.
Not a word to be used for a moment. He does not to. Lyra with the stand united on himself. Stunned is going to be Pyrian. Can't get in. Flashes to hit Lot. Only gets us back. Not going to stun him up. And now they are continuously just on to Big. Take him down. And it looks like Envy staves off the fight for just a bit.
Yeah. Someday actually channeled his teleport right in front of Seraph. Seraph just interrupts it, and then he shows up to the fight. So Someday actually really bad usage of his teleport.
Do get Elder. Hopefully be able to push a little bit more into this. A good arrow from Lot actually staved off a lot of damage from Pyrian in that fight. The summoners are down, however. Coming into the next fight that happens like that, it's going to be very scary for the AD carries.
Yep.
Exactly, Apollo catches up. So.
Yeah, you do have to, think about Big on the Tom Kench saving him, though. So he can use his own flash to reposition the Ashe. One of the things you have to consider when you pick that Thresh, that mid lane Karma flex, catch him off guard a bit.
Finishing touches here. Dignitas now really having to fight for this position at Baron.
Whoa.
Almost taking down Lyra immediately. And you can see Envy in those movements a little lax with what can be happening on the map. They don't own any path.
Yeah, they don't have vision. They don't own any path. And this is just becoming really brutal. It's a almost a 10,000 gold advantage. Elder Dragon's on for a few more seconds here. It's over halfway done. So Envy have to push out mid, not die, and then push out bottom, not die, and don't let Baron go over. But they're going to try to get him. Oh my god, Keen is gone!
Keen got absolutely deleted. 60 seconds on the clock. Bot lane getting a big push. No, the teleport in. Baron is going to be stopped here by Envy. Dignitas is trying to route themselves out of the fight. As now Envy coming up the river, and they are going to position for Baron.
They got the teleport out of Seraph. Keen has teleport, so you kind of have to do something in the next 40 seconds if you are going to do it. Yeah. But I don't know if Envy can. Lyra is low, and that's super risky. But they might blow this up. They might try to go right in there someday. They have anything to say about it. It spots them. They're just stalling. 25 seconds on Keen, who has TP. And Keen was caught out by Apollo, flashing and using his ultimate. So they know the AD carry, low mobility right now. Now they got to reset, but that gives Dignitas a chance to go to the Baron.
Tons of pings going down.
Yep.
Musical pings right now from everybody. Hopefully they are ready to take the fight. They are pinging
There's
for.
TP from Keen. They're going in. Lyra can see it. It's got 6,000. They're slowing the damage. Saying slow and steady or don't even do it.
Yeah, they're going to back off already. 2,300 HP onto Chaser. He's trying to heal himself up just a little bit more to get to max. Nice equalizer to start things off. Team split, though, as they were trying to go for the 1-2 punch there, and then the finisher. Keen would have been able to get some big damage in with the rest of the team. So that even slows things down now for Dignitas, not having their surefire engage from the arrow.
Yep.
Should come up quick.
And this game, it's getting to that point more and more where it's just going to come down to execution. We're approaching 6 items on a lot of these players. And that advantage that Dignitas has is up against that ceiling. You can't get more than what they have on somebody like Someday. Whereas Seraph still has room to grow, and then this means less and less in terms of the gold lead. We're at that point again.
We are. It has reached the Ward Wars. What will happen, Zyrene?
Ward War 3?
Wow. Looks like Baron's going to be part of this one.
Hadn't killed it yet. There we go.
It's the anticipation. It's mounting. Ooh. They're going to get a hook around here. Will they be able to route the team? Period. Just thought he was going to get hit by Someday first as he went around the Banshee's Veil, keeping him safe if anything were able to hit him first.
This is just pushing mid and trying to go back to Baron to clear the control ward. The ward wars are literally just shove out mid, now go put wards down. Shove out mid again. There's the arrow. It hit Apollo.
There's the cleanse.
Yep, got the Mikhail's Crucible. Hey.
Progress. Got the bot lane going down. Seraph's going to keep pushing. They're going to call for the Baron attempt now from Dignitas to take the 4v5. That's going to be the teleport
much damage
in.
though from the
Seraph
Casio.
now coming in. Pyrian gets the Casio.
He went in.
That's Lot taking damage. Cleanse for him. Apollo taking more. Someday coming in. That's going to be the Zanyas. Hakuo focus as well as Apollo. Seraph on the front line. That is going to be Someday going down. Seraph now able to Rangers focus. One more shot. Keen picks up the kill. They're going to start wiping down Envy here. And Keen has enough mana to keep doing work.
Look at those
he's
health
got to
bars.
be careful.
Everybody's so low on Envy as they exit that fight. Someday's equalizer and Q was good, but it wasn't good enough. Pyrian with the flash forward and the ultimate to try and turn things around. He does so much damage now. We were waiting for the Void Staff to come in. It's online. The Cassiopeia is going to start turning this game around.
These games have been all about scaling. Dignitas' comps, they built. Now EnVy builds a scaling comp for themselves. About to be contested at Baron. 700 HP. Lyra picks it up. EnVy with back to the walls finally could have lane control in this game, but still cannot make a mistake.
I was saying it right before. It means less and less with this gold lead. It's all about how you play it. Big got caught, grounded, can't get out, picked up. Pyrion does so much damage now, and then the ultimate separating Laud and Keen to the left side, and then on the right side, Someday goes in, Chaser goes in, and they go down as well, and it only costs them Seraph on the back of this.
Let's see how fast EnVy moves with this now. There's no time to rest.
I mean, they have a split-pushing Shen with Baron buff now, so they are in a fantastic spot. And look at this. This damage, it's mostly Someday, but then Keen on this Karma is just not able to do a whole lot except support his carries in these fights. It's one of the drawbacks of the mid lane Karma is the cooldown on her Q is so long, and you have to get those rotations. You have to make every skill shot count in it.
Slow movements now from Dignitas as they have had all the time in the world to play on EnVy's side of the field. They were at inhibitor turrets, doing damage to that inhibitor, and now Fear moving across the river against this Baroned up EnVy team. EnVy now finally placing forward wards in to make some moves. A possibility of a fight here, but Keen backs off quick.
Yeah, this Baron actually probably gets EnVy back to even or above. They'll take this turret. They have a push on the top side. They'll take that turret, that tier 2. And they have turrets to take. There's 3 to 7 right now. You just have to walk up, avoid arrows, and they have the Mikhail's Crucible as well.
Get it with this siege minion.
Yeah, just protect it, put your body in front of it. Now Rylai's Crystal Scepter for Someday as well. Making sure that he slows him down. There they go. Now it's only an 800 gold difference between these two teams. When we were looking at an almost 10,000 gold advantage for Dignitas during the mid game.
Props to EnVy for weathering the storm, making the right moves, being able to, obviously the wrong moves when Lyra went down, but stopping that from being any more of a snowball from Dignitas. A lot of back and forth from each team, and I'm sure they're learning a lot here in this first game, or I'm sorry, third game of their first series of the summer split.
Yeah, and Dignitas, they've gotten a few Barons, and an Elder Dragon has already gone down and is about to respawn in this game, as they are now neck and neck in gold.
2,000 gold in the hands of Pyrion and Apollo. 2,300 actually. 3,500 for Seraph. He sold and rebought. I was like, where did that come from? You taking out loans?
Like, give me that Knight's Vow, baby. Let's go. This is the late game dream. Keep somebody else alive.
I looked up the chart and I was like, what?
Yeah, now Seraph is going to be trying to keep alive his carries here. Apollo has the Knight's Vow on him from Seraph. Not Pyrion, just trying to keep his 80 carry alive. And this is just, this whole match, like, getting that one in that win category is just a team fight away for both of these teams.
It's 3 hours worth of work, son.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. And this one might be an hour itself. 10 to 7, as you said, the gold finally evened up. And it's a 5v5 looking at each other. Shen only on the top side here. This is either a fight or they're just going to decide to guard it.
Yeah, Elder Dragon, 10 seconds. Hawk shot, one of them used there from Laud. 15 seconds on his next one. And that's just mid lane priority. But top side, Seraph banging on that top base, getting in there.
And they're going to route back around.
Well, they're going to start Elder Dragon. You start it here. You try to get the Shen to come in.
Holy
Look at that.
Moly.
And it's down, and
Elder's
there's the arrow.
gone. Which way do they go? If they win the fight, they go straight for the base.
Pyrion got a great stun.
Pyrion hits that. Petrifying Gaze locks up Dig, so they have to do 2 thoughts. Second thought coming into this one. Apollo getting chomped up. Does he get devoured? Flashes forward. Still has shots from the back line. Apollo safe for the rest of the team. Just creating a squad of defense. Someday TPing in from the top side. And now they're going to start melting down EnVy. The follow-up from the rest of the team as EnVy was trying to figure out where Someday came from, how to do it. Do they reassess the fight well enough? Hakuo with the hit, but Seraph does not have the damage. and Dignitas comes up huge.
What is going on in that fight? The Elder Dragon goes down so fast to the damage of Dignitas. They get it, and then the fight afterwards is just absolute insanity. Someday literally TPs mid-fight to get himself in the middle of the lane.
They're going to be on the Nexus turrets. Dignitas with the lead, but letting Envy back into this game. Very scary towards the end. The final shots on the Nexus. 2-1. Dignitas take down Envy.
Dignitas, they improve on where they were in terms of communication. The game was hectic. It almost got completely away from them, but they're able to take down Envy, a team that was looking like they could be giant killers. But the 10th place team starts off with a loss at the beginning of summer.
As I said, both teams tested basically to the max here as we almost reach an hour long in our third game. A 1-1 back and forth in two extremely different games. Lopsided, if you will.
Flopsided.
One for Dignitas, one way in the favor of Envy, and then an all-out slugfest in game 3.
Yeah, crazy game 3, 52 minutes long. It came down to those decisions that you make in those tiny seconds. Someday, actually getting a TP flank mid-fight to the middle of the lane was crazy to reposition him to try and get a better part of that fight, better entrance to the back line. Whereas you're looking at things like the arrow landing as the dragon's going down, the call to even get that dragon. Dignitas definitely seemed more comfortable around baiting objectives than last split. So there's definitely been an increase in whatever they're doing to set those things up.
It really is. We saw much more teamwork in setting those things up. I think is one of the big things that comes to mind for me is that we saw a lot of them moving with Big now. He's making those calls. Those Barons aren't happening unless they have 360 vision on that Baron now. And if they don't, it's very slow for them to move in, and they actually work themselves around the Baron pit, so they actually just push the other team off, and then they face each other side by side.
Exactly. It's all about that mid-priority, pushing that out, making sure that you can get to Baron first. If you don't have vision of Baron, then you push out mid, and then you come in, because if they are actually just baiting it, you can keep pushing down mid, maybe go for more turrets, etc. But the Hawk Shot helped out a whole bunch from the Ashe there from Laud to make sure that every time you lost mid-priority, you can push it up and throw a Hawk Shot there. You didn't have the same luxury as Envy. So what happened was they tried to push that back, and then Dignitas was like, psych, we are actually doing the Elder Dragon faster than you'd be able to push out mid and check it. And they were just taking it so quickly. I like the arrow as well to prevent any type of steal coming through. So overall, just Dignitas in those final few moments were really quite good.
Absolutely. And I was pretty surprised as well with Cop as the coach. We know this guy to be very versatile in Champion Select. We saw two almost the same compositions from game 1 and 2, but then obviously Cop knows, changed it up. They got that Thresh out of there and actually went over to the other side. They were able to utilize the Karma very well for Big instead. We
were looking at the previous compositions being like, okay, the Rengar can jump in and like make plays with the Shen, but okay, how do we force a lead? How do we force an advantage to go further if we don't have the Rengar, if we have Graves instead? And they were like, okay, well, let's take mid-game fighters of Rumble, and then let's take an Abyssal Voyage, an Arrow. Let's just throw things that can start fights if they had an advantage. They got an advantage, but then they ended up having to bait a lot of objectives instead of going for those picks because they weren't really working out, and the Shen was countering a whole bunch.
At least they have that spot where they can go back, start from, kind of look from there. For more on that series, let's send it down to Captain Flowers, who's standing by for an interview with Team Dignitas' newest member.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am here with the newest player on the Dignitas squad, Big. Now, the first thing I got to ask you, how did you guys feel at the end of that third game? Because things were looking a little bit shaky as EnVy was scaling up, and then you win the fight, you go for the win. Walk me through what was going through your minds during that.
Well, what was going through my mind personally was like, I hope I don't die again. And I hope I actually like save Ben and save anyone really. And you know, just tanking all I can.
A support player through and through, not concerned about himself, but about his teammates' well-being. And speaking of the team, the newest guy on the squad, you're the one joining this roster with the rest of them returning. How has that adaptation process been for you? What's it been like getting used to working with this team and playing with these guys?
Well, at first it was really intimidating because, you know, there's 3 Koreans on the team. And usually from what I hear, Koreans are buddy-buddy with each other. But I think I integrated really well because they were just really nice to me. And the whole team is like really, I would say family-like. So it's just really, really nice and easy.
That sounds like a fantastic team environment, quite honestly. Who would not want to be in an environment that's so welcoming and supportive like that? Now, coming off to a 1-0 start after your first series has got to feel great. What are the plans for Dignitas to stay on track this split and make sure that you guys finish strong and keep this momentum going after this nice sprint out of the starting line?
Well, I think we just need to stick to our plans because game 2, we had a plan going through, and then we just threw it off the table and picked ban. So it's pretty much like we almost threw the series off that.
All right, sticking with the plan, obviously very important. One last question, a more specific question. You guys up against FlyQuest in your second series of the week tomorrow. Any specific thoughts, specific plans, without giving away any secrets, of course, going into that one, or any preparations that you guys are going through? What do you think about that match?
I think it's going to be pretty challenging, but I think all our players are better than their players in their respective roles. It's just if we could come down to being a team or not.
All right, there you have it. Should be a good matchup tomorrow for Dignitas versus FlyQuest. Once again, congratulations to you, Big, and the entire Dignitas squad for finding the win today. And now we're going to throw things over to the analyst desk. Take it away, boys.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. Big there, the newest addition to the Dignitas roster, always touted as one of the more vocal players in the North American LCS. And I think as he speaks about for that squad, the challenge will be sticking to their plans and executing on the strategies that they've, put together coming into the week. That'll be one of their biggest challenges, but also one of their greatest areas of gain, at least as a roster. And him being a vocal member is going to be a large part in making that happen.
Yeah, he talked about having a team with 3 Koreans on it, sometimes being a little cliquey outside the game. The bigger struggle, of course, is when you get inside the game, making sure that they understand the plan and they're on the same page with you. And then executing it itself is a whole different story, and knowing that this is the exact time you want to go.
And I think with that in mind, if we look at this 3-game series as a whole, within each skirmish, within each play executed by Dignitas, you can see clear intent. Of course, there is plenty of room for cleanliness around the execution and making sure that, hey, every fight we take is a one fight once we've established advantages instead of taking more, 50-50s and 60-40 opportunities. I can at least say where in the past we've seen a lot of our lower tier teams, struggling teams in development, is in their ability to close out games. There's very clear directive throughout the game from this squad in terms of making plays.
Right, we saw game 1, they forced a lot around Baron. Sometimes a little risky. Lyra was in range to kind of flash steal, though they did have decent control, making it difficult for him to get involved. Here in game 3, they tried to use that Tom Kench global transportation to pick off Apollo in the side lanes. Sometimes worked, sometimes didn't.
And with that, going back to the whole discussion around having, the mixed language teams, having the 3 Koreans and making sure the communication's on point, a lot of times where we see that fall apart is in early game skirmishes when you're relying on TPs and quick reaction times around that communication. And in fact, 11 minutes in, Dignitas is the one that comes out on top of a team fight 4-0 in the river.
Right, I mean, we talk about Someday being the best teleporter in the LCK. It can be a little hard to translate that to the North American stage when you're not all on the same page. But here gets an excellent TP flank, drops the ultimate to cut down, slow people off so that his rest of his team can chase down while also getting a lot of damage. He's able to burn multiple members and set his team up for this really early 4-0 that brought the game completely in their favor. And it was kind of surprising because we're used to EnVy being that early game team. Lyra's back on Lee Sin. You think he's going to go crazy, but they didn't find any advantages prior to that team fight.
Right.
So when Dig is able to find such a great flank, they take complete control of the early game, and EnVy is not in their comfortable area.
And what I love from there is that it's clear from that point onward in the game they understand what their win conditions are, right? What are the abilities and cooldowns that we need to play around in terms of extending our objectives? Again, our advantages, rather. Again, they don't always capitalize on them. Those skill shots don't always hit, and that's okay. The point is that they understand this is the sequence of events that must occur in order for us to extend our advantages.
Right, and you saw that in the top side the first time that they used the Tom Kench ultimate to try and pick off Apollo. That one went a little off because they transported the Ashe with them, and then he held the ultimate trying to bait out the juke. The second time they look for it, they bring the Rumble in and just snipe Apollo with the Ashe arrow, and he's able to drop the Rumble equalizer right on top, and Apollo really doesn't have anywhere to go because she can't get away from a Rumble who does a lot more damage through the Shen shield than an Ashe could. So this time around, this global play works out, able to get a couple pickoffs here, and that opens up the Baron, which really brought the game into Dignitas' favor before they started struggling again.
And what I love about that is a low-risk play, right? With the vision that they had, with the numbers advantage that they have, it's a low-risk play. Hey, the arrow misses and he clicks the lantern. Oh, well, he gets away. Whatever. But as soon as it hits, everyone's there following up on the call as it was made, and because it all happens in an instant, they do secure multiple kills, a big advantage on the back end of that. I want to fast forward now to the final fight of the game, 51-30, because this is our point. There were still moments where EnVy finds their way back into the game, and we want to see Dignitas be cleaner in their execution, but they do scrape it all together here in the final fight.
It's largely due to the fact that they get the Elder Dragon burn. We saw a late game team fight already go in the favor of EnVy. They have the Cassiopeia who does a ton of damage late game. And then now with this Elder Dragon burn, they can chase down the team fight. Great teleport here, coming into the backline by Someday once again, burning down multiple members, has the Zanya to be safe. Flashes the hook, able to keep getting damage down. Tom Kench now brings in the global, slowing the backline down for a second time, allowing the rest of Dignitas to chase through and start cleaning up the rest of these kills. Still gets a little dicey at the end. You see, this is why it's so important to have that Elder Dragon burn, because without that, they might lose this fight again.
Exactly, and this is where we say this game probably could have ended 10 minutes sooner if everything's played correctly from the point in which they have an advantage, but even still, it's nice to see that they do come away with the victory, given the fact that they built up those advantages and did understand their win conditions. Player of the game going to Someday, as was mentioned both in the first replay where he TPs in, has an incredible rumble ult, and even there showing mechanical prowess in the late game team fights.
Definitely one of the most important factors for Dignitas, being on that carry rumble, getting his own leads, making the big TP plays. A little bit of a head tap to Big. First game for Dignitas coming up pretty huge with Tom Kench, and in the first couple games with the Thresh pick as well.
And that's where I'm going to be really curious to see Dignitas grow throughout the split, is how does he, as a vocal member, slot into the team and continue to be a leader from the support position in terms of helping their growth strategically and not just individually.
I think it's a good meta for him as well, given the fact that if you're stuck on the Lulu Karma, sure, you can do the shot calling, but it's not quite all up to you to really pull the trigger. Now, if you're playing things like Thresh, Rakan, Tom Kench, all of them can kind of have their own go button.
Right, I get to say go, but I also get to throw the skill. That makes us go. Now, before we wrap up our day, let's go ahead and pull up the standings. CLG, they're going to end their weekend at 2-0, while TSM, Echo Fox, and Team Dignitas look to copy that record with their upcoming matches. We'll see who can make their Week 1 dreams come true with our games tomorrow. Coverage kicks off on NALCS 1 with Immortals versus TSM, then FlyQuest take to the battle arena against Team Dignitas. Over on NALCS 2, Phoenix One hope to get their first win of the split against Team EnVy, and after that, Team Liquid aim to take down Echo Fox in the Battle Theater. Any particular matchup tomorrow that you're looking at? Of course, we're so early on into the season, it's not so much about standings and beating those above you. It's what kind of matchups are you most excited for?
I think the one for me is TSM versus Immortals. We heard the fact that Doublelift was saying, Immortals bot lane's actually not that bad. He thinks they can still smash it. How will Immortals actually stack up now with this kind of new look where they're focused more on playing control and set team plays versus the very scrappy, aggressive style that we saw last season with Dardoch at the helm?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting look at that trade. We go back to it over and over, but, when we were looking at it as, hey, CLG got the better of his deal with the big playmaker in Dardoch, I think a lot of people undervalued the consistency of Xmithie and his willingness to play the supportive position. Again, there's a finite number of resources on the map in terms of League of Legends.
And Dardoch used to take a lot of them in terms of what the team needs to follow up with him on. Now, Smithie's more of a setup tool for other people to get their own leads. And after, beating Phoenix One yesterday, seeing how much improvement they can actually make in this season is huge. Going up against TSM now, they have a tough first week.
I was going to say, it's a very tough first week, tall order to see if they can come away with a 2-0, but we'll see if they can do it. For now, though, we've got to say goodnight to you. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more North American LCS. Good night.
I wanted to see